there's a better way. If you're going to put the effort in, here's the knowledge. Now you can put the effort in with some, actual benefits that are going to be not hurting you in the long run. So some of the postural stresses that we have, they come from bad habits and tendencies, and it attacks the mechanical efficiency of our blueprint. It's just the wear and tear. This will create muscle imbalances, both laterally and bilaterally. Imbalances, tension and counter-tension on joints. Ligaments, tendons, bones, muscle, fascia, organs, and other soft tissue. You can throw, your lymphatic system in there. There's a lot of, that's the soft tissue. It yields excessive wear and tear, which leads to injuries, disease syndromes, itises, and ultimately pain. So what we've got here is, see this tailbone tucked under? It's not good. We're crushing our tailbone. It's flattening our lumbar spine. As a result, our head comes forward, so we become the C-spine. We're naturally an S-spine. And we did it to ourselves. We created the chair. Humans created the chair. So we just started to, get luxurious and bigger and better. These couches are so deep that you can't stop but stop to, and we sit on the back of our butts. And, that's not where you're supposed to sit. You're supposed to sit more on your butt bones or those femur heads. I try to tell people, top of the hamstrings. I'm going to show you real quick. Whose jacket is this?
Toss it.
Show you what I mean. Sit like this. That tailbone's being tucked under, and we're crushing it. We're pushing on it. It's pushing into our whole pelvic floor. It's pushing into organs. Everything's being pushed up. So people say, oh, sit up, sit up. But then you get tired of sitting up, so you just go back down. Right? Okay, sit to the back of the chair. Still like this. Sit up. I get tired, come back down. What if I just change the angle of my hips and sat on my butt bones? Now it's a healthy slouch. Okay? I can still lean back. The problem with the chairs today is when you do sit correctly, and it's such a deep, slippery type of chair, you end up doing that anyway. And I catch myself constantly. Not only that, we do things like this, cross our ankles, or put one foot underneath, scoot out, surf the web. There's just all these different things that we do. But if we can constantly just be aware of it and catch ourselves and just be like, all right, let's sit in my butt bones. It's actually comfortable. And it doesn't have to be in the back of the chair, it can be in the front. This is a healthy slouch. I'm not hurting myself. If I just go here, now I'm hurting myself because I'm tucking that tailbone. This and this loses their natural curve. They become flat. And that is where you end up getting the kyphosis, where your thoracic spine actually gets really, really big, get that hunchback going on. So you lose your S. Oops, let's go back. There's another, you can kind of see it here versus here. Now in this case, they gave a little elevation. Not a bad idea. I think a lot of people right now are trying to, I think there's a movement going on. A lot of people are on the same wavelength, and we're trying to, get back to the true meaning of the Hippocratic Oath, and we're trying to holistically heal people. So we try to find different ways. And giving yourself a little bit of an aid isn't necessarily a bad idea, because it's going to hit the masses. You can't educate them in a, stand. I'm lucky to be here, because I get to kind of preach my word. It's great, but you don't always get that opportunity. Just a little statistics here about, how many people do this? I do it sometimes. Kind of, what does it say? It's not good. That screen should be up. He should be back. He should have elbow support. Right? So here's a good and a bad version of an X-ray. Someone sitting correctly and incorrectly. And when you see it in the X-ray form, doesn't that look disgusting? That's what we do every day. We all do this. You're doing it right now. So this picture didn't come out great, but this is kind of like the ergonomic way in which you should be set up at your station. I would like to see, I couldn't find one that has elbow support, but you should have elbow support as well. But you want to be 90 degrees here. You want to be looking straight ahead. A lot of times we actually have the computer up to the side, so we have room here, so we're doing this, It's not good. We have a laptop down low, so we're looking down, or texting, all that stuff. I've been doing this a lot lately, confirming stuff. Yeah, and I'm like, my neck. So, kind of take a look at that and think about when you go back to your station, how you can make a couple of adjustments. Maybe you put a book underneath the monitor so it picks it up a little bit, or you move the trash can out of the way so you can get your feet underneath there and flat. Little things. The little things make big differences. So, I apologize for these pictures. Okay, I took them of myself, and I was actually like, being in this P9 process took myself out of the realm that I used to be in, which was I would do stuff every day. I'd go work out every day the right way. I used to compete in strongman competitions as a lightweight, and I knew what I was doing, so I was able to do well. And then I started sitting like a jerk in the office, trying to get this whole stuff together. And so I saw my imbalances, and I was just like, wow, this is disgusting. But, okay, so this is me trying to sit normal. I can see, I've developed a little bit of scoliosis. You can see that this muscle's thicker than this side over here, and this scapula's kind of winging out, all right? I was hoping these pictures would come out, so I was like, Adonis, and I could just be like, this is the way to sit. But I am sitting correctly, I just happen to be crooked. A lot of times we start to kind of slouch. I showed you guys in the chair, you start to, right? Or we kind of lean forward and we get that rounded back, all right? Or we kind of twist off to the side. And here I have my leg crossed over. So I'm like this, pretend I'm on the computer. And then a solution. Sit normally, put an apparatus behind it. In this case, the peanut. Obviously, I'm going to promote the peanut. I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's the magic pill, guys. Everyone wants the magic pill. This is the magic pill. So you can kind of put it on an angle a little bit. I know this side was thicker. I didn't know it because I didn't see it, but I could feel that it was tighter up top. So I kind of angled it. As I went down, I made it even again. Right here, I just did a thoracic extension. Put a little lower towards the QL, the lumbar spine. Put it right on top of my SI joints. Put it off to the side so that only this one sphere is kind of pushing in between the rib and the hip, which is your quadratus laborum, or QL. It's a posterior abdominal muscle. Side note, when I used to be in the trenches, you get people, can we do abs today? Well, it's a posterior abdominal muscle. I'm like, yes, we can. Mm-hmm. So, it's not about doing crunches and the mirror muscles. It's the other stuff that needs to work. You can angle it, up and down. And you just move it throughout the day so that you're constantly getting that pressure on those points to release some of that tension, to bring new blood in there. The whole list of the SMR benefits can take place right here while you're working. And instead of being in pain, being like, I've been there recently. You can angle it, again, up and down. You can sit on it for a little bit. You put on either one cheek. You kind of really just catch that side part of the cheek. Right here, I just decided, I'm going to get my lat, and then I'm going to kind of like lean into it. So I kind of pull this arm across and kind of pull that fascia, that netting. You see animals when they get up, they even dogs, they subconsciously know that they're going to get that sucked and pulled back up. And that's kind of what I was doing there. So, what do we do? Let's take some breaks throughout the day, You can still be working while taking a break. What I mean by break is postural destruction break. Shift, take that moment to be, I'm sitting like an idiot, and get back into the right alignment. Or, maybe stand up for a minute and just kind of squeeze that butt, lean back, and just kind of undo that excessive forward lean. So, you got your feet, you can roll your feet. I wore some nice socks for you guys. So this is a quick little, get the hand, you're grabbing the mouse, sometimes your thumb or your finger gets a little numb, A lot of times you get carpal tunnel syndrome, people get surgery for it, or they have to wear these wrist things, and where does that come from? Where does carpal tunnel, does anybody know where it comes from?
It's too much, it's from like the joints pretty much just wasting away and just keep doing that.
It's not repetitive, unsupported, but it actually stems from way back here, believe it or not. Yeah. So a lot of times, once you get so far, you might need that surgery at that point. But that still isn't the cause. The cause comes from back here. So, let's go back for a moment here. Okay? I told you my right scapula is winging. You see that? Because I've been clicking on the mouse for a year or so now, consistently in the office. I'm starting to wing. And I haven't been going into the gym and, consistently do the stuff I should be doing. I'm sure I could still do a pull-up correctly, but I wouldn't be able to do the amount of pull-ups I could do before. If you can do a dead hang, you're kind of out of your shoulders here, wide grip pull-up, without kipping and changing, you're never gonna have shoulder pain. It's just, they go together. There's certain movements that if you can perform correctly, you're not gonna have these pains. Believe it or not, my left has been bothering me more than my right. And I think it's because of the fact that, because I'm twisted. And this is mastered, it's kind of shut down. The central nervous system's like, okay, you don't want to address me, I guess that means that you're okay. So I'm going to stop sensing pain. But you know what? This guy's now getting kind of funky. So where were we? So yeah, carpal tunnel comes from, essentially it stems from here, that excessive lead. So you've got these, it's the 600 plus components, which equals one muscle. So we are connected. And as these tensions start to happen through ourselves, it starts to really, it can show up different places. Some people get the carpal tunnel, some people get epicondylitis, so a tennis elbow or a golfer's elbow, which is outside inside. They could get some sort of, oh, it hurts right here, but it's still back here, it's the cause. So let's just kind of give you an example here, right? You've got a band, this is your muscle, goes, nice. Now let's just tie a knot in it for a moment. Now what happens? It's too tense, but I gotta still perform what I gotta perform, so I'm gonna find somewhere to compensate. It may be a little bit of more of like a wrist unsupport, or it's because all day is so tight. Now, using the same example here, if I was to connect this, let's say this was here and here, and it was nice and taut. You want a nice tight muscle in a healthy way because you can create power. But if I could put that knot back in there, right? It's tough to, I can't hook it back up over there, right? So, what do we tend to do? Stretch, right? People say stretch. You just tighten that knot. I'm gonna have a hard time on doing this now because I'm showing you guys this. But you're tightening it. You're not actually loosening it. You're tightening it. The thing with flexibility is, it's not really, there's no such thing. It's more mobility. It's the range of motion through a joint. We see our hamstrings are tight, but really we don't have good hip mobility. Doing stretching like that is gonna, most of the time, it's gonna actually inhibit your ability to become more flexible, and it's just gonna make you tighter. I stretch my hamstrings every day. I never feel anything. Of course you don't. And a lot of times we go too far anyway, so we're shaking. So you're actually, engaging what's called the Golgi tendon, which is in the tendons of that belly, of the muscle, and it is a protective mechanism. So when I come in here and I just grab him and I do this, he didn't even know, but he retracted. He kept him from getting hurt. Those kick in when you stretch. So kind of like, you can't really get to where you want to be. So it's going through a range of motion and coming back. And I don't mean ballistically, I mean slow and controlled. All right, let's move on here. So, peanut for pain, going back to the peanut here. It's a form of self-myofascial release that can help to alleviate symptoms or perception of pain. Deactivating trigger points, releasing muscle tension, stimulating blood flow, separating fused tissue, and activating dormant muscle groups are holistic and natural ways to alleviate pain. I want to talk about blood flow for just a moment. I've had quite a few people when I was, in the trenches, and they had a lot of different types of issues that just foam rolling alone took care of it. High blood pressure, high cholesterol. Didn't change the diet. I told them, don't get on a treadmill. I don't want you on a treadmill. I want you doing this. And their numbers would get better because they're pushing that stuff around and your body's able to kind of recycle and build. Body's very resilient. So if we put it, in a very optimal place to kind of do that healing, it will do it. I had a lady who, she had Lyme disease, really bad. She had it for 7 years, and then for the next 3 years, a total of 10. The next 3 years she was in a catheter with an IV drip. And, what does that do to you? It prevents you from living. You start to get depressed. So this goes back to our postural tendencies and emotional stress. She's kind of, I just can't do it. You know, it's, oh, you want to go bowling? I can't. I got a lot, you know. It becomes a very psychosomatic situation. Plus, she's got to sit down to get the idea, you know, why we don't sit correctly. She really started to break down. I asked her if she would, you know, do some work with me, and she said, I can't lift over 5 pounds. I can't. My doctor said, I said, that's all right. It's fine, we're not going to lift. Once you just, you know, husband, he's going to take care of the payment for you, so why don't you just do it? And so she gave me a shot. And in 6 months, she was able to get that catheter out and be put back on an oral medication for her Lyme disease. To me, it was very simple. She's tight, she's not in her, you know, optimal blueprint, and there's no flow. So you're getting this, you know, IV medicine going in. It's not doing anything. It's just kind of superficial. Lyme disease is very deep in the tissue. So how's it going to work? Foam rolling, opened up her, you know, pathways. The medicine went in and took care of it. I had another guy. He was quite significantly overweight, and just getting down on the ground alone would break a sweat. And you know, he was working with me. He was very consistent, very loyal. And all we did was I got on the foam roller for, you know, about the first like 8 or 9 weeks. That's all we did. We didn't do anything else. Not even like a front plank, nothing. Just foam roll, because he's got to hold himself up to foam roll. That's planking in essence anyway. He lost 4 pounds a week, every week, just from that. And you know, it's because you're now able to go through the process of fat burning, because you're pushing that water on. All the different physiological processes are getting blocked. And this kind of, you know, opened up the pathways again. So, in acute pain, and oftentimes peanut will make the pain totally disappear. So, you know, you wake up one day, you maybe slept like you know, and you're like, oh, my shoulder hurts. You hit the right spots, it doesn't hurt anymore, because it's not a chronic issue. It can kind of go away for good. In the case of chronic pain, it can manage the high levels of uncomfortable pain. So if you're constantly, you know, looking for some relief, I mean, people get to the point where they'll end up actually just drinking to not feel anymore. And that's, you know you're that far gone, it's, you know, it sucks. So to be able to put them in a more manageable situation is, to me, in a natural, holistic way, everyone should know about this. Pain is never the problem. It tells you there's an issue with the tissue. I told you it was coming. It's one of my taglines. Pain tells us that there's there it is. Never mind. So we need to look at the source of pain and not just the symptomatic area of the pain. So let's, this is where posture comes in. Let's move on to posture here. P90 for posture. It's a great way to undo our day. You get home, you know, you're carrying a briefcase. It's gonna, you know, I had a couple of good slides that in the previous presentation that I thought might have been too deep for you guys as far as keeping you engaged. It got really nerdy. But this particular slide, woman with a purse, and when you see her, and it was the X-ray, you see her spine with a purse over her arm. It's like, wow. I had, you know, high heel, looking at the foot. Guy with a briefcase, looking at his hips. We got to do it. You know, I'm the bus driver, you're the cashier. We got to make our, you know, we got to do it. But we got to undo the day. That's what's going to keep us going, healthy and strong. It's about health, wellness, and vitality. That's what we need to start to kind of visualize. We need to become, many other countries are far ahead of us in the healthcare system. They're much healthier than us. It doesn't just come down to diet, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that we have a lot of processed stuff that we are forced to eat. But if we can just simply do some of the things like rolling our feet every day, that's your foundation to your house. You know, if you can just undo your day a little bit, couple of minutes, you're gonna stop as much of a vitality leak, and you're gonna live longer. We just talked about that. All right. So you're at your desk. Your wrist is starting to hurt you. Look at it. Where am I? What am I doing? Oh, I'm not. I should be okay, and fix things. Or, you know, catch yourself in a slouch and, you know, shift the angle of your hips and sit on your butt bones. Or stand up and, you know, kind of just get a nice star going. Take a walk. That's going to help you to kind of change some of the postural issues that you've got. It's an awareness thing. You know, we all, again, I catch myself all the time, but I'm glad that I catch myself. Postural torticollitic pain because the body's blueprint is off, and there's an excess wear and tear in the joints, ligaments, tendons, bones, muscles, fascia, soft tissues. It makes a lot of sense. It comes down to, if I'm sitting like this, I'm now going to dump the rib cage, right? I'm smushing a lot of my organs. But not only that, I'm not able to breathe my diaphragm. I got to breathe my chest. So I'm excessively contracting muscles that aren't supposed to go that many times in a minute. And I'm actually working harder to breathe. So I'm wasting more energy than I should. And then I don't replace that energy because I think I haven't done anything all day. I sat at a desk. I shouldn't eat that. You know, and it's a very, very big struggle. And I think it's very simple. You just got to get down and do some peanutting. So this excess wear and tear will begin to create unhealthy friction, leading to inflammation, micro tears, pinch or compressed nerves, overworked muscles, and eventually it leads to a bigger issue with the tissue. Ultimately, health, wellness, and vitality are dependent on our posture. I really think it's the keystone. Peanutting will undoubtedly help to reduce some of the postural issues in our body that our body endures from our daily tendencies. So now let's talk about performance. Helps to activate the muscles, tendons, ligaments, and you know, if you're going to go, anybody play some sort of intramural something at this point? And I play in a co-ed softball league in the summer. Anybody else play anything? This point, you know, flag football. Didn't you guys have a flag football league or something? Yeah. Right? What did you guys do? You get out of the car and get out there and play? So yeah, guys, you kind of see my point here, right? Yeah. The proper warm-up, and I think a proper warm-up would be not going for a jog around the track because you're not warmed up for that jog. It would be to release the tension in those to help you perform better and not get hurt. P9 will increase the range of motion, stimulate the central nervous system, and it actually makes your muscles fire a lot more efficiently. So you're sharper, you're quicker, you're able to react, okay? There's also mind-body connection when you do this type of work, where now you're feeling with your mind, and you're kind of like, okay, this is that muscle. It primes you. It gets you more aware of what's going on. Whether it's a daily task or complex overload athletic movement, peanutting for performance is a crucial step to lowering the risk of injury and increasing the level of quality of an execution. So, guys, our passion is compassion. Again, I told you I want to educate people. All right. So if you guys can help me out, that'd be great. We're trying to just get it out there to let you guys know that this is something that is simple, holistic, it's free. You can use a water bottle, blow your foot. You don't need to spend any money, and it's going to give you tremendous benefits. So help us start a healthy habit for generations to come. I want you guys to become a starfish straw, all right? Have you ever started the starfish straw? Real quick, all the starfish washed up on the shore, and guys down there picking up the phone, one end, he keeps walking, keeps a kid on the top saying, hey, mister, you can't save all those starfish. And he bends down, I just saved that one. It's the little things, right? We can all make a difference. So you guys have those sheets I gave you, right? So if you could follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, it would be great. Our website is very shortly going to be launched. And we're coming to the very end here, folks. Thank you, Teespringers. Okay, just taking another look at our evolution. All right. The issue is with the tissue. Thank you very much. Yeah, I kind of ran out of time. I tend to talk a lot.
You guys, you want to stick around for a few minutes for a demonstration? Those of you who can. And
anybody who has any questions? Here for you.
Did everyone get to sign up on this? This is how we're going to raffle off the peanut.
So anybody who wants to try this out, cameras here. So on the back of that sheet, you see I created this as a basic how-to because I know that we as humans are not compliant. We want the easy route, we want the magic pill, you know. This stuff is a little bit, it's work, it is work. But if you're going to exercise, this is the work you should put in first before you do anything else. So if I could get people to just do a 5-minute routine where they roll their feet for 45 seconds, they pump for 45 seconds in between the shoulder blades, you've taken care of 3 major areas to at least get you on the right path and not hurt as bad. And I find that eventually you're like, oh, wow, I didn't do this. So I gotta get in, and you know, it's been 20 minutes, so it's been 4 or 5 minutes, but it's not overwhelming. Putting together the routines on the website. It's gonna be we're gonna launch. It's gonna be a nice website. We're gonna consistently add routines because there's so many different ways to do this. If you're familiar with like a front plank or any kind of core work, you can use this as an aid. Put it between your legs. You get in the front plank. It's like a self-motion thing, so that you don't start to sag. I drive with I mean the car. Give me a thoracic extension, so I use the right muscles to actually hold myself up. It's my pillow at night. I've actually used it underneath in a vertical position behind my truck and I know it's my emergency braking program. So, yeah, it's many ways to use it. It's not necessarily about using, you know, people think, oh, it's fine, you know. I don't usually use, like I said in the beginning, I made this mistake. I use one ball a lot of times. But that second ball is a stabilizer, where you just stick, you know, it's about the size of a softball. When you get that, you can't put the pressure, you know, it hurts too much, it slips away. So, a lot of times, because we have that flattened out spine, we bring our head back. It hurts. So if you need to hold your hands, right? You're going along, put it behind your head, hold your hand up, that's okay. If you can give yourself a good hug, you're a natural. You're a natural. And you just start rolling, digging in. You could actually just keep your butt down and stay back. Oh my God,
They're not right now.
You're gonna get a wristband?
I was like,
I thank you guys for the time to listen to this spiel. It's supposed to be like a 30-minute presentation, 30 minutes. Thank you. Good to see you.
Did you just crack your back? Yeah.
You don't even have to roll. You can just lay there. Oh yeah. If you check out some of the videos on Facebook, you know, I don't have the website yet, but I've been putting videos on the website, on Facebook, to kind of show many ways and how you can use this. A lot of times I just put it between the shoulder blades and just like get down, my butt's down, and I just start.